Hello, Malaysia fans. Here we are inside Paddock with MotoGP Special Edition.
Whoa. What's going on here?
No, mate, I am now the journalist. Rider journalist.
No, I'm the presenter.
No
Give me
way,
this.
no
What are you
way.
doing? Stop trying to steal my job.
But only one day.
No. Come on. You're busy enough this weekend.
But in some years, yes, no?
Okay, in a couple of years, maybe, yeah.
Maybe,
but right
maybe,
now,
yeah.
this is my job.
Hope long time.
Exactly. David, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your weekend. Deary me, trying to steal my job from me. He's fast enough this weekend. He's going to be on the podium probably in Moto2, and he's trying to steal this job. Anyway, welcome to Inside the Paddock with me, Jack Aprilia, not David Alonso. Oh, what a qualifying session we've just had. Pecco Bagnaia on pole position, the enigma that is Pecco Bagnaia. We could write a book about his 2025 season, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. What a 5 weeks it's been from victory, pole position, victory in the sprint, victory in the Grand Prix in Japan. Then he's failed to score a point since, out in Q1 in both Indonesia and Australia. And now we arrive here and he's back on pole position again. Where do we start? I just said to him in Park Ferme, can you tell us about the journey? He said, we don't have long enough. Eventually, one day in the near future, someone will tell the story of Pecco Bagnaia's 2025, because when we think the story's done, when we think that Bagnaia's lost and then there's no hope and that the season is going to peter out, suddenly he bounces back and he's now on pole position and he's probably the favourite for the sprint, looking at how fast he was in the free practice 2 session earlier on this morning. A crazy turnaround once again, just one of the most remarkable stories. What a season it's been. Marc Marquez coming back to reclaim the MotoGP World Championship, more than a comeback, one of the greatest sporting comebacks ever. But then at the same time, the story of Bagnaia for me is just as fascinating, and it continues. Who knows where we'll finish in the sprint? Who knows where we'll be in Portimao when we next go racing in 2 weeks' time? As I said, someone will eventually write a book about Bagnaia's 2025 season, and I, for one, look forward to reading it because, wow, what a story. He is on the front row with Alex Marquez, a name that we all predicted would be on the front row of the grid ahead of the weekend, but it's not come in the manner that we all thought it would. A very, very tricky day yesterday. 2 crashes, the first of which was a fast one. It put him on the back foot. He did pretty much 0 useful, meaningful laps on the GP24 yesterday, which means today he's been playing catch-up. He was able to throw it together to really salvage something in that qualifying session and take seconds, but it's not the Alex Marquez we all expected on the front row of the grid here in Sepang. He doesn't look comfortable. He's still doing work, and that for me is why I don't think we can put him down as favourite for the sprint, because Bagnaia did look stronger this morning on the outside of the front row. Again, what a turnaround for Frankie Morbidelli, anonymous in Phillip Island. I don't think we saw him on TV. We mentioned him in commentary all weekend long. It was a disastrous weekend for the Brazilian, the Italian/Brazilian. But suddenly now he's managed to find his second front row start of the year in third, and a fascinating row 2 of the grid as well, fronted by Fabio Quartararo, who I'm sure will be pretty frustrated that he's not on the front row. Was on course to take pole before losing it all in that final split on his final lap. Again, it's going to be Quartararo looking to do something magical. You think he's going to be up against it. We've seen it with the Yamahas in race trim, that they just do not have the pace to compete with the Ducatis, the Aprilias, the KTM. So looks as though it's going to be the same story for Fabio. And what about these two? Pedro Acosta, middle of the second row of the grid in 5th, despite a crash at the first corner. Again, if we've been uber critical of Acosta, it's another key mistake in a key moment in a Grand Prix weekend where he has looked strong. He has improved, he has matured, he is evolving as a MotoGP rider, but if he wants to be a genuine title contender and take the fight to Marc Marquez next year, then those costly mistakes in the big moments have got to be eradicated. And on the outside of the second row of the grid, maybe the fastest man when it comes to race rhythm, Fermin Aldeguer, got through Q1, but not without its drama. Having just gone top, he crashed on his final lap, and then whilst trying to get the bike back to the box, come and have a look at this, because we might be able to see some war wounds here. In fact, we can. This is the exact spot where Fermin Aldeguer crashed his GP24. Let's see, these are the scuff marks here you can see when he was trying to get the bike back into the box. It swerved out of control, whacked here, nearly took out one of his mechanics, nearly took out team boss Michele Massini as well. It was a dramatic end to Q1, and as a result, he had to go out on his number 2 machine, and in the end, with only one soft rear tyre at his disposal, he could manage second row of the grid in 6th. But he's got potential to be right up there competing for race victory in the sprint, but more so in tomorrow's Grand Prix. The big question mark for Firmin is that if he wants to win Sunday's Grand Prix, he has to, in the opening stages, get past one of, probably both, Pedro Acosta and Frankie Morbidelli on the opening lap. Because if he gets stuck behind both of those guys, 2 of the toughest men on the grid to overtake, that is going to be the opportunity that Pecco Bagnaia and Alex Marquez need to escape. So crucial early stages for Aldeguer tomorrow if he wants to be in contention for the Grand Prix victory, which of course would make it 2 out of the last 3. But he's certainly got the pace. His rhythm on medium tyres was absolutely superb. Hello, how are you, sir?
Hi,
I'm very well, thank you.
I'm very good, yes.
So, I met Didier yesterday.
Oh, good memory.
No, I'm good with names. And we were walking through the paddock, and he wanted to tell his story because, Didier, you were here in Malaysia, but your journey to get here has been quite long. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was quite long. Yeah, I started from France in April, so across Europe, Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, China, Laos, Thailand, and Malaysia. And now I've got to go back.
All on your motorcycle as well?
Yes, yeah. Can I say the name of the motorcycle?
Yeah, sure, why not?
CF Moto MT450.
Wow, a CF Moto. So
they're really good motorcycle. Yeah.
The Aspar guys will be happy with that.
Yeah.
So you set off in April. So what's that? Nearly just shy of 6 months.
6 months, 6 months and a half, 30,000 kilometers, and and many beds, many different beds all the time.
I can imagine. What a journey that is. Your favourite country so far?
I have to say Kyrgyzstan.
Really?
Lovely. The sceneries, the yurts, sleeping in a yurt, the lakes, very beautiful. It's a beautiful country, yeah. China was a long trip. It was 9,000 kilometers, which I did in 28 days. But it got me the chance to go to Tibet.
Okay.
I mean, who can go in Tibet with his own motorcycle? Lot of permits. I was lucky. Well, lucky or yeah. So that was amazing.
What a journey! And you're clearly a MotoGP fan as well.
Big one. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Who are you supporting this weekend?
This weekend, probably Pecco.
Okay.
Yeah, I want him to come back. You know. In general, I support everybody because they're so talented.
Yeah.
They're so talented people. Yeah. So yeah, but Pecco for this weekend.
Well, I think there's going to be some team managers, Didier, who, if their riders don't perform on Sunday, are going to be saying they can hire a bike and follow you and drive all the way back on their motorcycles.
Yeah. Well, they can join me, no problem.
Let's see if we can make it happen. Didier, lovely to meet you.
Thanks, Jack.
And good luck on your journey back.
Thank you. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, what a journey that is. Starting in France in April through all of those different countries to make his way here 6 months later to the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia for the MotoGP. And yeah, I imagine some team managers might get an idea there and say, guys, if you don't pull your finger out in the race tomorrow, then you can get your bike and you can drive all the way back to Europe with Didier, because don't be getting on the plane with us. There we go, a word of warning for team managers. You can use that one to try and light a fire in the belly of your riders. As we go further down towards pit lane here, and an opportunity as we're looking at Honda to speak about Joan Mir. For me, the one rider out of that qualifying session who will be the most frustrated. Mir looked excellent yesterday. The Hondas, both him and Luca Marini, the pair of them, will be bitterly frustrated. Marini unable to get out of Q1 by the narrowest of margins, which leaves him with a mountain to climb, despite being the fastest in our free practice 2 session. Looked excellent on race rhythm. Mir just as good as well, but wasn't able to put the lap together, and in the end it's going to be 3rd row of the grid for him. The Honda is improving. They had so much data here in Sepang from the work that Alicia Spargro has done. 3 separate tests over the past 4 months for Aleix, But I think they will both feel, Luca Marini and Joan Mir, that they've left something on the table in that qualifying sessions. And for the pair of them now, who I'm sure will have been eyeing a podium, are now up against it to try and get into that mix for victory and that mix for the spots on the podium tomorrow. But that's just how it goes in MotoGP. Those qualifying sessions are so critical. You have to perform in the heat of the moment when the pressure is on, and pair of them gave everything. I mean, Marini was absolutely, Mir as well. If you haven't seen the session, try and catch some highlights. They were sideways, throwing the bike from side to side, the rear wheel lifting under braking. You cannot fault their commitment. It was brilliant to watch, but unfortunately just couldn't get the lap time together to get onto those pivotal front 2 rows of the grid to give themselves a huge chance of fighting for the podium. Right, before we leave you, let's see if we can at least get some reaction from somebody on the MotoGP grids. The problem is, here in Malaysia, you might have seen yesterday, it was a challenge to chat to the riders, because as soon as the session finishes, they're immediately doing their debriefs, then jumping into their ice baths to try and cool the body temperature down. Recovery also important in these hot and humid conditions here. So as a result, we don't get many spottings or sightings of MotoGP riders, but we'll give it one further walk down pit lane to see if anything crops up. And whilst we're there, we can speak on the fact that once again, us folks in the media that like to jump at headlines and create narratives have looked quite foolish, because just a few days ago I can remember on this very microphone saying that Aprilia is without a doubt now the best motorcycle on the MotoGP grid, and just a few days later Aprilia don't have a single bike on the front 4 rows of the grid. How fast things can change in MotoGP as we see an exhausted Fabio Gianantonio walking into the hospitality area. Won't be grabbing a word with him, we'll let the guys recover. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Marco Bezzecchi will line up on the front of row 5 of the grid. Ralph Fernandez out, Victor last time out, will join him there as well. Their potential is greater than that. They will, I'm sure, make up places in the sprint and in tomorrow's Grand Prix. But this topsy-turvy grid, the guys that have missed out despite having strong pace, all comes down to the chaotic MotoGP practice session that we saw yesterday. If you're not inside that top 10, which a few riders did manage to achieve, despite maybe not having the pace to compete over the course of the weekend, they were able to take advantage of the rain falling in those very difficult to manage conditions, and as a result we've got a little bit of a topsy-turvy grid where some of the guys we expected to be up there aren't going to be right up there. As Ayagura waves on, he's not happy, so I'm going to leave him go, no problem whatsoever. In fact, we'll get a fist pump from frustration, I'm sure, for him, because he was very, very quick the last time we were here for the MotoGP test at the start of the year. As a rookie, he was able to do 6 days. He looked excellent, and I think a lot of people, given what we've seen from Aprilia over recent weeks, were confident of having a big weekend here to really get back on track and show his talent and his potential. But frustration for him out in Q1, the third Aprilia on the grid on, I believe it will be row number 6 of the grid, so not ideal for the Japanese star, who's just looking to refine that form that he had earlier in the year. And I think that is about it. So I've walked up and down pit lane, I've got my steps in. We had a special guest presenter to start off with in David Alonso. Wish him the best, featuring yesterday and today. We need to pay him double. Well done, David, for helping us out. And enjoy what's going to be a fascinating sprint. It's Bagnaia, Alex Marquez and Frankie Morbidelli on that front row of the grids. But my hot tip, keep an eye on Fermin Aldeguer. Can he get the job done in those opening laps and put a challenge together for both Bagnaia and teammate Alex Marquez? That's going to be one of the key stories to watch. MotoGP Tissot Sprint is lights out as ever, 3 o'clock local time in just under 3 hours. Make sure you tune in and enjoy it. We'll see you in Portimao in 2 weeks' time. Ciao.